sad because nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to be sort of the bad guy that talks bad about other people.
Over the past few years, CoffeeZilla surged in popularity, exposing the grifters, scammers, and fake gurus who prey on the public's desperation using deceptive advertising. His targets were usually celebrities who then put a target on his back, but he always came on top. This is the full story of how CoffeeZilla became the infamous internet detective. Stephen Findeson was born on the 20th of August 1985 in Texas. Not much is known about his childhood, but his obsession with scammers started early. By the time Stephen was in high school, his mother was diagnosed with cancer.
I just watched her get like bombarded with all these like phony health scams of, just like colloidal silver, all these different like remedies. I was like, why are we doing so many different remedies that all seem of very dubious health value? Later, I'd find out that these are like all grifters. I mean, they take advantage of free speech in America to like advertise their products as, life-saving miracles.
She was sold a bunch of snake oil, and I think she believed it all. This left a bad taste in his mouth for those types of people, foreshadowing what he would do in the future. But for now, he ended up pursuing a degree in chemical engineering from Texas A&M University. After graduating, Stephen sold houses for a local builder, all while working on his side project, YouTube. But it's not the same one we know today. Quite the opposite, actually.
First, you have to know that I had a YouTube channel before this making piano videos, and it took me 80 videos over 2 years to get 100 subscribers. You can subscribe and like and watch another video if you want.
February 20th, 2017, Stephen started his channel, Coffee Break, and his videos were smart and for intellectuals. They're nowhere near the quality that he makes now, but there is one thing that stands out.
I've got to stop doing so much research.
His research. On March 23rd, he posted his first video about how Casey Neistat took over the vlog. Saying that working hard will get you far isn't true. Everyone on social media always preaches that hard work is the only reason for success. But what about the people working over 80 hours a week and surviving paycheck to paycheck? Are they not working harder?
I don't think so. Hard work was necessary for Neistat's success, but not sufficient. Success is not solely a function of hard work. It's highly dependent on the quality of the career opportunity or idea that you're pursuing.
The same can be said about Stephen. He didn't get to where he is today solely by his hard work. It was the combination of great opportunities plus his immense work ethic that really sealed the deal. Especially his CryptoZoo series, but we'll talk about that later. His next few videos would be thought-provoking ideas such as social profiling, Marlboro's effective advertising, and height favoritism in elections. It wasn't until his third video about how Marlboro changed advertising forever that he would go viral, reaching 4 million views to this day. But like any creator, Stephen wanted to experiment and ended up making videos about time management and the system he uses. This shows us early on how he wanted not only to be efficient, but effective with his time. And this was also around the time when Stephen was jobless.
And even by last July, I only had 300 subscribers.
By the end of 2017, he had posted 21 videos.
Last February, I had set some goals for this channel. The most ambitious of them was to get to 50,000 subs in 1 year. We hit 100,000 subscribers late February, which is absolutely amazing.
Stephen promised to be more consistent on Coffee Break moving forward, but that never really happened. He ended up finishing the year with 11 videos, nearly halving his previous year. But that's not the whole picture, because on August 4th, Stephen launched Coffee With, which would change his life forever. Now that he has 2 channels, it seems like his priorities would slowly start to shift throughout the next few years, but we'll talk about that a little later. If we look at the videos produced on Coffee Break versus Coffee With that year, we can see some differences. Although they're both about exposing the truth, Coffee Break goes more into the psychology of it.
We are creatures that live on narratives, entertained by the stories we hear and directed by the stories we believe about ourselves and our world. Because it's valuable to know that, to some extent, you can decide what stories you believe and in turn live with.
The reason we want things, the reason we buy things, often has very little to do with the product and everything to do with how the ad makes us feel. And selling scarcity is all about making you and I feel like we've been given opportunity.
His videos are thought-provoking, well-researched, and make you question the reality of the world we live in. Coffee With, on the other hand, would start off very differently.
Welcome to the first edition of Coffee With, where we interview interesting creators. We're interesting creators. Oh man, I hate doing stuff live.
His reason for starting this would be to see inside the minds of these other creators, see inside the minds of other video essayists who break down big ideas. His first interview would be with Will Schroeder, where they talk about what it means to be a video essayist, philosophy, the age of distraction we live in, gratitude, and more.
I write an essay, and I try and animate that essay.
Stephen's interview would end up being over 2 hours long, but since he knew not everyone would sit through the entire thing, he also made highlight clips which would end up adding 5 more videos to his backlog. He would do the same thing with his next interview with Austin McConnell, and by the end of the year, he uploaded 11 videos on Coffee With, which would later be renamed to Coffee Break 2, then CoffeeZilla.
I screwed up. And that is a little bit embarrassing to say.
2019 would be the year Steven had his first controversy. He made a video titled Trust in a Nutshell by Coffee Break, in which he states that Kurzgesagt's channel owner, Philip Detmar, is lying. He argued that Kurzgesagt's oversimplification of educational topics leads to providing not only less information, but also misinformation.
One example of this that I found was Johann Hari's TED Talk, Why Everything You Know About Addiction is Wrong, and Kurzgesagt's adaptation, which they called Addiction. Some of the studies are disputed, and some of the video's claims are so oversimplified, it's downright misleading.
I won't go into too much detail, but some emails were exchanged between Steven and Philip regarding Kurzgesagt's video accuracy. Steven also laid out some questions for an interview. The interview was delayed and no further emails were exchanged, and then the accusation happened.
He had been busy making my video for me for his channel. He even did me the favor and interviewed himself by answering all my questions. But I don't think you can trust him to correct himself or take down incorrect videos without external pressure. And I don't think you can trust him to read your research, and if he does read it, he might claim he thought of it himself.
Immediately after, Philip posted an AMA on Reddit because the best way with being called out is to be open about anything. Someone asked about the email exchange being released and Philip gave permission. The reality of the situation is that Steven was biased during his accusation. He ended up doing the very thing he goes against. The email exchanges between Philip and Steven were paraphrased during Steven's video as to not quote Philip, and it ended up just misrepresenting Philip. The accusations Steven said during his email were also the same thing as Kurzgesagt had been getting for years in the comment section. Philip also said that he had been working on the video for over 2 years, and CGP Greg confirmed it. The most important thing was that Steven never responded back to Philip for an interview and basically left him on red. Philip DeFranco breaks down the situation more in depth in his video titled The Ridiculously Bitter Kurzgesagt Hit Piece. As for Kurzgesagt, it seems that he's come out on top of this drama relatively unscathed. Meanwhile, Coffee Break, in the long term at least, is causing great damage, if not completely destroying his YouTube career by sticking to his current course of action. It's as the old saying goes, the internet does not forgive and it does not forget.
I think a lot of this could have been de-escalated, and that's not what I did, and I think it ended up just being immature and petty. Eventually, as Philip and I talked, I apologized to him for how I handled things, but because I made things public, I also wanted to publicly say, Philip, I'm sorry. You can't just discount somebody's work just because they made one mistake. I mean, people making YouTube videos under a time crunch will make mistakes. It happens. It's not the end of the world.
Steven lives, learns, and finishes 2019 with 11 videos on Coffee Break. CoffeeZilla, on the other hand, went a different direction. His first video was a random piano song. His next 2 videos were about the true odds of multi-level marketing, which would be 24 hours worth of footage. Then, on his 8th video, he finally started his infamous Fake Guru series. Mike Vestile, Ricky Gutierrez, Caleb Maddox, he started exposing all the scammers on the internet. And when you go after someone that doesn't want the truth revealed, they try to silence you.
And I realized like somebody has to speak out about this, and everyone who is getting silenced. I was like, I'm going to use my platform to raise awareness to this.
Steven found his main format talking about fake gurus. He was the voice for the little guy, and he found his blue ocean strategy. Steven did a video on a course student, continued his fake guru series, and then
you can't talk about me because if you say my name, then I'm gonna copyright strike you.
He finished 2019 with 58 videos on CoffeeZilla and amassed over 45,000 subscribers.
You're probably average.
I'm your real guru.
With everyone stuck at home, it was the perfect time for content creators to take advantage of this and grow massively. On May 3rd, Steven posted his first video of the year on Coffee Break, how humans are crowdsourcing a cure to COVID-19. This would also be the last video, and he would hit his peak of 386,000 subscribers. Over the next few years, Coffee Break would slowly begin to decline. A forgotten channel by many, but still a fond memory that has a special place in Steven's heart. CoffeeZilla was officially Steven's main focus, which helped tremendously for his growth. He would continue posting fake guru content, inviting them to come over and have a chance to defend themselves, but it rarely happened. It's like they knew that they wouldn't stand a chance, as Steven has proven himself to be a pretty good conversationalist and debater. And by June, he finally hit 100,000 subscribers, a milestone that would be a fraction of what's to come.
But if you're a fan of the live stream, you should know we're moving it to The Drip.
On August 15th, Steven starts the Drip podcast on another channel, and 2 days later, posts his first episode with co-host Amish. This channel would go on to be a series of live streams and bringing guests with a chill atmosphere. By the end of 2020, Steven posted 140 videos on CoffeeZilla and amassed over 200,000 subscribers.
Knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, if I miss an upload in January of 2021, I will be going bald.
Daily uploads are huge and could lead to burnout, but Steven was committed, and 2021 would go on to be a massive year.
100 days ago, I didn't think this was possible. 100 videos in 100 days, daily uploading.
This is probably one of the most important things Steven did because he learned 3 things. He cured writer's block.
I've been a monthly uploader in the past. Like on Coffee Break, I made a video a month, and I couldn't imagine making more than that because it was like so taxing. And one of the reasons it was taxing actually was I had really bad writer's block. I can say absolutely for sure, probably forever, I am cured of writer's block having done this project.
He got rid of perfectionism.
And the reality is you never learn what sticks until you throw a lot of the things at the wall.
He got out of his head.
Going daily just gets you into this rhythmic swing where it's like, honestly, I can't pay attention to yesterday's video because, hey, we got to work on today's.
But there's a big problem.
You can end up sacrificing your longevity by getting burnt out early on.
Turns out it wasn't that bad because all his hard work had finally paid off and CoffeeZilla was featured in a Netflix docuseries Money Explained.
You literally have to do what no human on earth has ever done and choose to watch the credits, and you will see less than a second of CoffeeZilla featured there.
This would also be the year where crypto became more mainstream. People are getting rich, people are getting scammed, and Steven wants nothing more than to expose the scammers and hold them accountable. Soulja Boy, Kim Kardashian, Aiden Ross, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Drake Bell, Post Malone, Melania Trump are some of the few people he called out for promoting scams.
My opinion sentence is... There we go. Jay Mazzini just got an arrest warrant issued by the FBI. He's been detained by the FBI, and we got new charges related to the Bitcoin scam we covered a long time ago. We've been going after Jay Mazzini for 3 months, guys.
The worst one of them all would probably be
Save the Kids Token.
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 which claims to redistribute wealth to holders and charities. And of course, that was a lie, and it just turned out to be a massive rug pull. That's basically how most of crypto projects go, and it's sad to see, especially when someone you trust promotes these shady projects, only for you to end up being scammed and left holding the bag. The promoters take the money, delete old tweets, run, then rinse and repeat. It's a never-ending cycle, but someone has to do something about it. By the end of 2021, Steven posted 210 videos on CoffeeZilla and amassed over 885,000 subscribers. The Drip would end the year with 241 videos, which includes 40 live streams, and amassed over 33,000 subscribers, which marked the beginning of the end.
I lost a bet, and you know what that means. Time to go bald. This is terrible. Oh my gosh, it's worse than I thought.
Promises made, promises kept.
Well, here you go, guys. This is what you all wanted. I will be leaving the Drip.
Steven made a hard decision and had to leave the podcast with Amish temporarily, but this ended up being the best decision. Just 1 month later, in April, he hit 1 million subscribers. By now, CoffeeZilla has become pretty popular. He's getting lots of attention and is starting to make a change. Throughout 2022, he continues making videos, but at a much slower rate compared to the year before. Towards the end of the year, his content started to shift towards making high-effort content like the CryptoZoo series. Steven is no longer underrated. He's reaching the masses and is making a difference. By the end of 2022, Steven posted 74 videos on CoffeeZilla and amassed over 2 million subscribers. Hard work was necessary for Steven's success, but not sufficient. Success is not solely a function of hard work. It's highly dependent on the quality of the career opportunity or idea that you're pursuing. From Coffee Break to Coffee Break 2 to Coffee With to CoffeeZilla, there's no one thing that made Steven who he is today. He didn't wake up and suddenly became the internet detective. He was just trying to not let people get scammed, to hold people accountable for their actions. Most importantly, don't forget to pump the stock.